the moment you broke it, it was on a big run. It was, as you saw in the clip, it had everything. It had his shiftiness, it had his power, it had his speed. When you broke it and you knew it, because you were right by the bench and your teammates were jumping up and down, what was that like? Was it relief, excitement, maybe a little bit of everything?
Nah, it wasn't a little bit of everything. It was more of, okay, let's get it done so I can get out the game. We're already up. We're up by 14 or 21 points. Coach, when are you taking me out of the game? I'm ready to get out. We're winning. You know, it's third quarter. And when I broke it, I was happy to break it, you know, and the only reason I knew that I had broke it is because the play before Chad Coons came to me, he was like, because he was out, it was second down, I think, when I broke the record. So first down, we go in, and Chad was like, don't break the record without me being in. Like, what are you talking about? You know, like, I didn't even see how many yards, you know, I had because I was kind of focused on, like, we just need to beat this team so I can get out. You know, I'm looking like that, you know. So he was like, just don't break it without me in. So we called the play. It was a draw play. And Chad was like, oh, we're gonna break it right here. And he said this in the huddle. I'm like, all right, yeah, let's go. You know, everybody blocks. It was just like perfect. You know, it was a perfect moment. It was like one guy there. He was already scared to tackle me. You know, so I was just like, you know, I could have did anything. I could have probably spun around on him and broke out. But you know, it was the only reason I knew was because of Chad Coons. He said, don't break it out. And then he got in, and you know, he talked in the huddle and everything.
That was such a great moment, and I think a really important lesson in the process to all you young men and women here tonight. Because the story that Ron is referring to in Sports Illustrated, that happened. There was a point in the season where they were listing their biggest surprises, Heisman hopefuls, and biggest disappointments. And that story had Ron as one of the biggest disappointments in college football to that point. In life, you're going to have people who don't believe in you. The key is to be around people who do, like you folks here tonight. And Ron, you were always someone who, right away, whenever someone wanted to talk to you about you, you always mentioned your teammates, your offensive linemen. And that's a big lesson, I would think, Ron, right? Knowing that you have the people around you who believe in you and allow you to have the success that you enjoy.
Yeah, definitely. You know, that was one of the biggest things that really helped me get through school. You know, school is first. You know, if I didn't go to school, I couldn't play football. So, you know, and then having guys supporting you, you know, just like the family here in the Boys and Girls Club, you know, you got a big family that supports you. So, you know, it's just like a team. So, you know, everybody has their part. They do their thing, and you know, you just kind of deal with it and work with it. If you don't want to, you know, do the team thing, it's hard to do it by yourself. You know, so, you know, that was my whole goal. Well, not goal, but you know, my main thing that got me through school and got me into the pros was team. You know, because I couldn't do it by myself.
In the history of college football, in the history of the Heisman Trophy, there have been two winners from the University of Wisconsin, Alan Leachy and 10 years ago, Ron. And now, back when Alan won it, it was just announced. It wasn't a big television production like there is now. Now ESPN does an hour-long show. It is a big, big deal. It is as prestigious an individual award, not just in college football, but maybe in all of sports. And Ron is in a very, very select group of individuals who won that award. Ron, I'm kind of wondering what it was like for you that night when you won the award, and you have to give the Heisman winner gives a speech, and that's there forever. What was that like?
Oh man. Well, that night it was a great moment. It was me and four other quarterbacks. Well, me and four quarterbacks. It was Drew Brees, Joe Hamilton, Michael Vick, and Chad Pennington. And I was sitting next to Chad Pennington, and you know, when it came up, you know, right before they announced, probably about 2 minutes, a minute before, you know, we came back on live TV, they came and powdered my face. So I'm like, well, yeah, I know I'm sweating a little bit. It's all right. So, you know, a lot of people looked at that like I had won it already, but I wasn't paying attention. I'm like, well, yeah, I guess I am the only one up here sweating. I'm the only running back. There's 4 quarterbacks. So I'm sitting there, and you know, after they came powder my face, Chad Pennington was like right here where this arm of the chair is, and like my legs just start shaking. So I had to scoop my chair over. I moved it over a little bit, kind of get away from him, and I'm just shaking. And then they called my name, and I didn't know what to do. You know, I was standing there, and I stood up, and I'm like, should I go up there, or should I shake? So I shook Chad Pennington's hand, and then Coach Alvey was right behind me. So I gave him a hug, and he was like, you know, he kind of like held me like tight, and I'm like, Coach, what? I know I got to go up here and speak in a second, you know. So he helped me, and he gave me some good advice. He was like, take 3 deep breaths and relax, you know. So when I got up there, I'm like, yeah, okay, Coach, you helped me all this time to tell me that, you know. So when I got up there, I'm still nervous. I'm like, eyes got a little watery. I'm like, oh, let me take these 3 deep breaths. So I take 3 deep breaths, and I'm like, man, I can't cry because all my teammates were watching, and they told me, you better not cry on TV. My line, you know, and my eyes are already watery, so I'm just kind of like, and those 3 breaths did help, you know. And, you know, I thank Coach for that, you know, and it was fun. And, you know, my speech was like an essay. You know, I didn't know when to stop, so I just kept talking. People were like, oh, we never heard you talk that much. Well, it's like an essay. It just kept going, and then to top that night off, that made it so crazy was that we were all in the hotel. You know, after I had won, I took my pictures and everything, and I was hanging out downstairs. Like my grandpa, he passed now, but he was there, and you know, and we were talking, and we were just sitting there, and then it's just like, I mean, everybody's around, like all the people still there. It's probably about 10 o'clock at night, you know, and it's just like a part in the Red Sea, you know, it just opens up, and I'm like, kind of look down, and it's Jay-Z. He just walks straight in, you know, and everybody just like, that's Jay-Z, you know, the rapper, and this and that. And he was just like, can you come with me? I'm like, oh yeah, all right, I'll talk to y'all later. I'm going, you know, so, you know, that was the biggest part of the night, just to meet him.
One of Coach Alvarez's favorite stories, picking up on what Ron was talking about, when they went into commercial break, that's when the makeup people came out and powdered Ron's nose or whatever, took the sweat off, and the head coach of Marshall, Chad Pennington played at Marshall, the head coach at Marshall turned to Barry and said, well, I guess that gives it away now, doesn't it? We don't know who the winner's going to be. And they were right. It was, and Ron mentioned his teammates, they all gathered in the press box at Camp Randall Stadium. They're all to watch it on TV there. So it was an individual award, but very much a team award at the same time. Describe to folks here your relationship with Coach Alvarez. I know he talks about favorite players. Of course, Ron won the Heisman, but it was almost like a son. I think he was much like a son.
I could go talk to Coach Alvey about anything. I wouldn't talk to him about my grades, but I try to get out of things. And like, well, Coach, I got to go over here because of my daughter, you know. And like, no, I have a daughter too, and I know you don't need to be over there for her to do that. Okay. But yeah, it made me so close with Coach, you know, real cool, and I still talk to him and go see him and hang out with him. Still to this day, you know, he's a great guy, you know, like a dad to me, you know, and it was just fun to be there when I was there. A lot of players don't feel the same way as me, but probably because I was one of the bigger guys. But besides that, you know, Coach is a great guy, and you know.
I think it's real important, again, and this is really directed at the young men and women in here. People have choices in life, and those choices can begin very early in life, when you're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. Ron, there's always temptations, and I know there were some for you in your years growing up. talk to particularly to the young folks here tonight, the importance of having a plan, staying with it, and making the right decisions.
Yeah, definitely. It was hard for me. Well, coming up, my mom and dad got divorced when I was probably about 8, and then I moved to Jersey from Virginia. So I moved to Jersey, and it was just me, my mom, my sister, and my mom got strung out on drugs, and it was more of me being the mentor of the family, or the head of the family. So it kind of made it easier for me once I had kids. But my whole point in this story is that you can't just give up, and do your own thing. You might have little brothers, little sisters that you got to do for, and you just can't go out and act crazy. Like, you never heard me being out, doing drugs or getting caught doing this or doing that. It's because, I kind of grew up early, and probably a lot of y'all kids from the Boys and Girls Club are probably in the same position. You might have just your mom there, or just your dad, so, the whole thing is just to stay focused and do what you have to do to get where you want to be. If you want to be a singer, do what you got to do to be a singer. Don't be out all night, or your mom and dad or your mom might not check on you all the time, but you just do right for yourself. And that's the thing. I feel for younger kids to kind of do right for yourself and your siblings. You want to definitely help them out. And I've seen a couple older kids from the Boys and Girls Club that I don't know if they're in the same situation, but that's a perfect thing to shoot for. You want to go, shoot for, feel like you're the owner of the house, or you're the head of the house, and you look at everything like you're an adult. You're not an adult, but that's the thing to shoot for. To kind of take care of yourself and your family. And school's first. If I didn't go to school, I couldn't play ball. I wouldn't have the opportunity at the pros. So just like being a singer or a dancer or whatever, if you can't do school, then how you think you're gonna be able to get out and perform, in front of somebody else, and you don't even know what's going on. So school's first, and that's my biggest thing. You knock out school, and then you can just go ahead and take care of what you got to do.
Pretty good message there, all of you young men and women. I think it'd be a good idea